Hello there, English speakers. Today we'll correct fake news from me. Sorry about that. About NLS-metatron, I described something completely different. Pretty much, very much completely different, yes. And we'll talk about this thing here, catastrophic global warming snow. Yeah. So I will speak about an interesting speech about that, and we'll talk about all the stuff. Well, just start with taking a big, deep breath and hope that the dog stops fighting with other dogs, stop refusing to move, and then starts to move way too much. It's exhausting. We need a big, deep breath. So first she starts with lying down, refusing to move, and then we run a little bit and shout at dogs, and then she refuses to move, so I freeze to death, and then we bark at more dogs. So NLS-metatron is an interesting machine, but it doesn't work with light, and it can't scan your body. It can't work like an MRI machine. I was fooled by what people who explained it not so well said it did, and it does do a spectral analysis, but it doesn't do it on light. So what is it? It's some machine that for example, you can set it across your head, and then it measures your electrical signals, and it filters out all the normal big ones, and then it listen to other stuff that's happening there, and you can trace these signals to different parts of the body. You can trace it to how much minerals you have in your body and so on, because they have simply done a lot of tests and see what people are deficient in, if they have a special condition or something like that, and then they can match this to these frequencies. But all the images on the website showed MRI pictures that were from MRI cameras and stuff like that, and on that they kind of paint what this machine is thinking it's detecting. It's about 80 to 87% correct, depending on what it is it's trying to measure. So it's about biowaves, not about light. But this light technology that I described yesterday, it can be used. The military has some machine, for example, that you get a strobo into the forest through the bushes, and then if you just watch this light coming back at one particular moment, you can see through bushes and so on with strong light. So this is a technology that's used there, and it's used for ground radar and other things. So it should be possible to do. We are not yet there for med beds, which is like a sarcophagus that you lay down in and then you rise up and everything is fixed with you. It should be something that we can construct, and we can definitely scan people either by an old style MRI camera or in the technology I proposed yesterday, by just sending light in and you see what's in there, and you can also, as I told you yesterday, see what kind of substances there are there, which is something astronomers do all the time. In Sweden here we will get some COVID-19 84. They are moving slowly but way too steady. There is a pandemic law that says that the government can shut stuff down, and now the DOJ, if you can call it that, åklagaren, statsåklagaren in Sweden, the Department of Justice, have decided that 200 crowns, that's 200 euros, 2,000 crowns, if you gather in a big party or something, then the government says that you shouldn't do it. I mean, of course you can get like a fee if you cough in someone because you want to hurt them, but if you gather together with people that well, are your friends or they are there together willingly, that's just stupid. People who are working for the law machinery and they're interpreting the leak-wise moronic politicians, and then they create morality, and they have no knowledge whatsoever in handling pandemics or something like that. They have all the other interests except that. They can't think about it. They are just annoying. Our Justice Department minister, he is lying about that there was a police murder on the Capitol, which is not something that we have any reports on. There are some other stuff that you know. I will not go into those details too much. If you remember, by the way, in April, CNN says that masks are racist. They apparently stopped being racist because everything CNN says is total bullshit. So I did some bullshit in hope, you know, that CNN are shutting down their support for airports, and they have been paying the airports so to only send CNN content, and now they will end this in end of April, I think. So I thought let's give it a try when they have more money now to hire me. So I posted this entire message from Trump where he speaks about no violence, law and order for everyone, true supporters all love law and order, and they are definitely against hate or racism or anything like this if they are true supporter. So I posted this with a nice Nazi flag in back of Trump, and said that President the elect Donald J. Trump, I mean, if we can call Joe Biden President-elect, we can call Trump President the elect, so why not? And he's spreading hate against Democrats, Antifa and Black Lives Matter. In the headline, a little bit provocative, I can give you that. And then I talk about how Trump is destroying the life of Democrats. I mean, he's literally doing that. He speaks out against people who are encouraging violence, which a lot of Democrats are doing. He speaks out for law, which is against corruption that they love. So nothing strange there, and I go on a little bit. And I thought, maybe a little bit fun, and I wanted mostly to see if YouTube takes away this Trump speech. I have a copy, so why not upload it and see what happens, and do a little markery about what CNN and similar people, how they are just badly misrepresenting Trump if they are not single out lying. I didn't lie here. I just wrote it in a different kind of way, but way over the top. So what happens? A lot of people on BitChute that can't really think apparently, and they are some sort of Antifa supporters with a MAGA hat on. They don't behave like Trump supporters in any way, shape or form, and think that idiot is a good argument. And yeah, that was funny. So I made a video reacting to my own video, and especially to the comments about it. And the dog is... I don't want to be here where it's noisy, but she just doesn't give a crap. So watch that if you want to have some fun with some pro-Trump trolls. They are not pro-Trump at all. Some people actually got it, and big thanks to Scott Adams, by the way, how he gave me the idea that I can make content out of my trolls. Ned Nikolov and Zeller have continued their work on the atmosphere. They are making a really simple model of how the mean temperature of a planet or a moon is dependent on the thickness of the atmosphere and the distance to the sun, or the total sun irradiation. So this is nothing but details in the local climate or anything like that. So the conclusion is, it doesn't seem to matter what kind of gases you have. The only thing that matters is how much of them there are. But in this speech he goes on with comparing the poles to the equator of the moon or planet. I hope you can hear me for all the blowing. The dog just refused to be where I want, which is the exciting thing here. You never know what's happening or what will happen. So if you have a thick atmosphere, the temperature on the poles will be basically the same as it is on the equator, because, well, it's so thick. And if you are closer to the sun, you will get a bigger difference, or lower, bigger, that doesn't matter. Anyhow, so if the Earth has a thicker atmosphere, you will have less temperature difference between the pole and the equator, and then they compare this to some some historical records millions of years back. It's hard to speak when it's starting to get cold here. So it seems to work, and both of these people are independent. One, Zeller, is he doesn't work anymore, pensioner, and Ned Nikolov is doing this work outside of his work as an atmospheric analytic for the forestry, so they know what they are talking about. Now we'll leave that talking about something we know about. Really interesting, proactive view to watch X22 report if you haven't done that. There are some drops from 3 years back on the exact date when stuff seems to happen this year. We have the checkmate on the 13th of January. What happened now is that they had an impeachment in the House. So what's interesting with this? If you talk to any Democrats, they didn't like their side at all. They were appalled, really. So that didn't go well for the Democrats. And what will happen now? People who are not into strange stuff says that Mitch McConnell, he said he was very welcoming to this impeachment, and he says, yeah, we want this and we want to hear it. And now he says, oh, I haven't decided what to vote, and no, we are not going to hurry up this process. We are just relaxing. We have a vacation now, so on the 19th, then you can see the great impeachment show. Wouldn't that be pretty good time for all the Republicans to present some evidence of election voter fraud? Yeah, it would be pretty good, because then all the Trump haters will be there watching, seeing if they can see some impeachment coming on, so that they can get rid of Trump one day earlier. Wouldn't that be great? So they are watching, and they will see something. We'll see. 18th will be big news days, and well, maybe someday. This is the general ideas here. I think it's so Mitch McConnell, he's married to the Chinese Communist Party and so on. I think he has not betrayed Trump. I'm not sure about this 2,000 US dollar and so on. He seems to be on board with some sort of plan at least, and Mike Pence seemed to be on board too. They needed the extra time, and they needed the corrupt Democrats to make a total fool of themselves, and they are really good at it. And remember what Sun Tzu said: appear weak when you are strong. And with that, I think we'll have to just wait and see what's happening there. And if you want some fun, look at what a troll were writing on BitChute there. I will not post those videos on YouTube because only of the thumbnail that is kind of important for the entire ID, and the thumbnails are possible to misinterpret, so I will not post it on YouTube because I'm afraid that some insensitive pseudo-Trumpist or some other crazy person. Apparently there are a lot of people who can't understand anything about anything. So bye with that, and see you tomorrow.